given the global situation, look at Mexico, right? Look at the chaos there.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at Iran. Look at China. Like you said, the SGE is being drained right now. I think below 800 metric tons right now at both the Shanghai Gold Exchange and Shanghai Futures Exchange, physical silver bonds. So, given all of this information, okay, excluding the LBMA, because I don't trust the numbers, right? I explained that. So, given the global silver inventory, lack of 999 physical silver situation, I don't think um, 80, $90 silver is going to cut it.
Thursday, February 26, 2026, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. Well, today I've got Eric Yeung, or King Kong 9888, back on, and he's based out of Hong Kong. And to me, he's got one foot in China and one foot in the West in terms of the market, so he knows what he's talking about. He's been away for the Chinese New Year. I guess, Eric, you got back Tuesday or Monday. And yeah, I couldn't think of a better person to have on after what happened yesterday on Comex. So welcome back, Eric.
Thanks, Mario. It's a pleasure to be back on your show.
Yeah, thank you for coming on short notice. And the other one thing that's weird, Eric, is that people were saying a couple of weeks ago, well, when China goes away for a week, they're gonna smack gold and silver, and they kind of did last week. And it's interesting that only a couple of days after the Chinese come back from holiday, gold and silver start breaking out. And then yesterday afternoon, London time, around 6 o'clock, I start noticing on my screen, and I get the spot price from my trading account, that the bid and offer in silver, spot silver, is like 12 cents, which is huge, and gold 5. And I said, there's something wrong here. And then I learned that Comex again pulled the plug on the market like they did. It was Black Friday, just yeah, the night of Thanksgiving when they reopened. They pulled the plug though, Eric, on the whole exchange, right? And why do I say that? Well, because it's really quiet during Thanksgiving and the day after. So, the cover is that the whole exchange went down. They didn't just pull the plug on gold and silver. This time they pulled the plug yesterday on gold, silver, and natural gas. They didn't pull the plug. There wasn't a glitch for the government bond contracts interest rates, which are much bigger, because it was busy. They would have been in trouble. So yeah, I know you're just back, and you've got a lot on your plate. But what do you think was happening yesterday? Was it really a technical problem, or is there more to what Comex is up to?
Okay, well, like I'm going to cut to the chase, right? First, if you look at the Mario, I sent you that screenshot of the CME Group's, daily numbers, and you can see the one from yesterday for the March contract. So basically, if you look at the March contract, they managed to close 11,000 contracts, and there are only 10,526 contracts open interest that are outstanding. So I think what happened yesterday is that they try to close as many contracts as possible. See if there's anybody, or how many people are willing to do cash settlements. They did their best, closed out all those people who are willing to do cash settlements, and then they looked at the vault inventories at the eligible and registered, and they probably figured that there's not enough free float or physical silver, or at least not enough that they want to let go for settlement. Okay. So I think that's what happened. And it was critical enough that they had to shut down the exchange for 90 minutes,
Yeah.
which is exactly what happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Why? I guess they would shut it down because they wanted to probably stop people from like taking delivery, not taking delivery, but accept, they wanted to talk to them to accept the cash settlement, right? Because I would say there was probably a lot of people also, Eric, and I've got this here because I worked as a futures and options broker for many years, not in precious metals, but I know what goes on. And we've got here the March contract, which is not the front month, of course. The front month is now May, so it traded a lot more, 68,000. But what I notice here is the volume yesterday was 36,000 for March. And, they got 11,000 positions to close out the open interest. So it means that 25,000 other trades were like probably people going long to take delivery, tomorrow, I would say, because it's not normal to have 36,000 volume. What I would expect the volume to be here would have been 11,000 here, total volume for March. What do you think about that, Eric?
I think that's a very good point and complements with what I'm about to show you next. I
Yeah,
just sent you another screenshot, if you can pull that up,
yeah,
from this guy from called Tuke
yeah,
on Andrew Tusi
yeah.
on X.
I've
Do you
got
see it?
that. Yeah, let me
Yep.
just bring it
You
up
pull it up. This is
in
important. Yeah.
a second. Oh yeah, I think that
Okay.
he's the guy who noticed that they traded while the market was supposedly shut, right?
Post. Okay. So listen,
That
what you
that
just said. What you just said. 36,000 contracts for the entire day. That's the
yeah, yeah,
volume, right?
yeah.
31,000 of that was trade what changed hands when the exchange was closed.
How many? Sorry.
31,000.
Oh yeah. There you go.
800. I mean, like if you talk about shenanigans, look at that.
Yeah,
Look
yeah,
at that. People come to me and they say it's business as usual and nothing is wrong. Come on.
yeah. I mean,
I
there you
mean,
go.
like
36,000 total volume
exactly total, and 31,828 of that
when the
change
market
hands
shut.
when the market shuts. Okay, so
Wow.
listen. So my original statement is probably correct. Like I said, they came out and they tried to close as many contracts as possible, right? That's why the OI dropped drastically for March, right?
Yeah,
Okay. So they tried that, and whatever, leverage longs that are in out there, who wanted to settle, did it. Okay.
yeah,
And then the remaining, like you said, who want to have the physical deliveries, right? They
yeah,
looked at the inventory and they said, "Oh my God, we just don't want to let go." Like I'm not going to sit there and say that they don't have the metal because they probably have, right?
yeah.
But I'm going to tell you this: whatever happened, it probably meant that they don't want to let go of a minimal amount of metal
Yeah.
that is at the eligible and the registered. Does that sound fair? Because I say that, and the experts like Robert Gottlieb won't yell at me. Okay,
Yeah,
because
I know.
I acknowledge that. Okay, I understand that, but like,
Yeah,
there's probably a level that me and you and everybody else don't know that they don't want to go below.
yeah.
Correct? Fair
And
enough?
Eric,
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about Robert Gottlieb, uh,
Yes.
I think it was probably early yesterday morning or the night before. He posted on LinkedIn that, all the people who were worried about delivery problems, they've been proven wrong because the open interest went down. But that was
Yes.
before the market shut yesterday. I wonder what
Yeah.
you're going to say about that. If there wasn't any problem, why did they have to shut the market?
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. I'm going to say this, Mario. If I'm blind and I can't read, then I believe Robert Gottlieb.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm not blind and I can actually read.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're just gonna look at the numbers, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
31,828 contracts change hands
Yeah.
when that episode happened, when they closed the exchange down for 90 days, 90 minutes, sorry, for
Yeah.
90 minutes yesterday. So my interpretation of that is that a lot of like, what happened during those 90 minutes was OTC backroom deals.
Yeah. So
Okay.
here
So
you
they,
are.
yeah,
After they
yeah.
reopened the market, they slammed it down.
Okay. So, but like what I'm trying to say is that they probably, like I said, they probably looked at the inventories and they said, we don't want it to dip below a certain level.
Yeah.
So they went out there and they convinced some of the longs who were keen to take physical delivery and probably withdraw the metal, right?
Mm.
To like do these deals of the OTC deals of them
Yeah.
for like cash settlements. I mean, some people are going to say, well, it's no OTC, it's on the exchange. They they can do it in parallel. Okay,
Oh yeah, with the
like I mean, it's possible
LBMA,
that
with
exactly
London and the banks, because
correct, correct,
these banks, gold and silver are traded like foreign exchange, which is OTC. So Comex and OTC is virtually the same.
correct. They can have some kind of EFP deal. Not exactly EFP, but off exchange that they don't tell anybody, right?
That's right.
So that's the way I see it. And so they pay a premium to these longs that are keen to take delivery and withdraw, and convince those guys to just cash settle. So
Yeah.
that's what I think happened. Now people are going to say, well, a lot of these contracts seem to have just settled without what you're talking about, Eric. Fine, I'm simply talking about the marginal stuff. Make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the marginal stuff that tip the scale over, right? Like,
Mm.
it's just people, Mario, they got to think. They can't, like, if somebody comes to me and they give me the official story, I can only think of two things. They are either working for somebody
Yeah.
to say these things, or they're truly confused,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm trying to just like tell it the way it is. Tell your audience what's going on. So I think, yeah, exactly. So they, for the marginal longs that they don't want, those guys to take physical delivery and withdraw, they simply probably offer them some kind of premium that we don't know about,
Mm.
and settled while the exchange was offline. So
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. And after that crunch or whatever you call it passed, then they basically kicked the can down the road a bit. Now they can slam the silver price a bit. So
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. That's
Yeah. No,
exactly the progression.
I
Yeah,
agree with
sorry.
you. And
Yeah.
even though it's very frustrating for us silver stackers and sound money people, I noticed like that Comex was kind of was rigged back in 2002, because at the time I was working as a futures and options broker in the government bond market and interest rate markets. And I'd been working for about 10 years when I started watching gold and silver futures. To me, it was really weird. And Eric, that I'm a person who asks questions when I see something that doesn't look right. And I noticed that at a certain time every day in London, gold and silver would drop always. And then I asked myself, why is that happening? And I found out that the regular hour opening for gold and silver was around 1:20, 1:30 London time, right? So, and then I realized that after around 3 o'clock as well, gold and silver would drop massively. And I looked into it and I found out that that's when, after the PM fixing for gold in London, so the LBMA physical market was shut, so they could come in and just smack the futures price, right? And yesterday was the same kind of thing, same modus operandi. It started around 6 o'clock London. Everyone in Europe and Asia had gone, and that's when they stopped the trading on Comex. And I wouldn't put it past institutions to have been buying, like I said earlier, buying the March outright, so they could stand for delivery very soon, and they couldn't have that, like you said, and they or even they even like you said. They realized that a lot of the loans were not going to roll over, so they pulled the plug and called the clients and said, will you take, a 10% or a 12%, premium to cash settle? So I think that's what's happened. And I said, I'm rambling a little bit, but I said that we shouldn't be frustrated. And why? Well, because Eric, I think we've had 40, 50 years of this in the precious metals market in the West. And that's why I think there's a shortage in silver. I think there could be a lot of tightness in gold, and that's why the price is going to explode. And I think the other thing they've done is they destroyed the London market and the New York market, because as you see here, SD Bullion is charging the same price that Shanghai is charging for its silver. So 102.64 is where Shanghai settled today. And that's pretty much what SD Bullion is charging. And here we have the fake price, 87.54. How
So
about
anyway, yeah, my whole
sorry.
point is okay. I mean, it's you perfectly expressed what is actually happening right now, Mario. Thank you. So I was going to say that you know, this is definitely something that I saw coming like weeks in advance. When you have Dario on your show a lot lately, and he talks about like defaults at the Comex, and I told Dario myself, right? I said the Comex is probably not going to default because this is the kind of stuff that they do,
Yeah,
to kick the can down the road, right? So I mean, weeks ago, I knew this was going to happen. They're going to simply, like, what happens
I
is
remember. I
this.
think
Yeah,
you
yeah,
posted on X about that.
I
That they're
did.
going to do the same thing they did on Black Friday.
Yeah, well, I also said that if once they look at the vault inventories, right, both at the eligible and the registered, both. Okay, so I'm agreeing with Robert Goddard here because he keeps saying you can't just look at the register. You have to look at both. I am. If you look at, they probably looked at both, and they know the real free float. Okay, like we don't know. If you pull up Nick Lear's chart with the registered and eligible numbers,
Yeah,
it's a
hold on a
big nice
second.
chart from Gold
Yeah,
Charts of Us.
yeah,
Okay,
I've
so
got
I'm gonna
that.
keep going. I'm gonna keep saying. So if you look at that chart, and people see, well, Eric, there's still a whole bunch of physical metal there. I'm going to tell you this: you don't know how much of that is available.
Yeah, eligible.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
eligible, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Well, I
matter if
had
it's eligible or registered.
Eric. Eric, I had
Yes.
Andy Scheckman a couple weeks ago, and I asked him about that fact, and he said, Miles Franklin, they have loads of clients who hold millions of dollars of silver and gold in Comex vaults, but they're not for sale. But their gold and silver is counted as eligible. So it's just all the gold and silver basically in the vaults. In the U.S., which are vaults that can be used for Comex. But if I had my gold and silver there, it would never be for sale. So only maybe if they allowed the price to go up a lot. But right now they're not doing that.
Okay. So anyway, my like people ask me. I'm just going to go to the next point here. So people ask me, what will happen next? Now that they did this, what's going to happen next with silver? I'm going to paint a scenario for your viewers, okay? Like I'm talking about the COMEX situation. So let's say like the situation that happened yesterday, where they closed the exchange and they did the shenanigans, the off exchange deals, offering the premium to cash settle. My analysis on that, or my interpretation of what's actually happening is that they only did it probably for friendly concentrated shots at the Comex. So not just anybody, but like probably people they like or people that they have to help assist. Okay, so they close the exchange for those guys and close those short positions. Okay. However, going forwards, okay, most likely, this is just this is just my understanding of the situation based on what I'm seeing and what I saw the last time they did it. If you remember, right? Like in the middle of winter, they put a plug saying that their servers overheated. Okay. So like, just based on my understanding. So I think the whoever is short at this point, I mean, the open interest is like I said, for March is half of what it was 2 days ago. So they already substantially cut it, right? But whoever is still out there shorting, and if the powers that be don't want the physical silver to leave the vaults, okay, and there are additional people standing for physical delivery. Now, these are all assumptions that I have. Okay, if all that is true, I think the people who are short, okay, those guys will probably most likely have to directly cover the short positions on the Comex. So they are not going to have the privilege like the other guys. Like what happened, okay? Which is essentially OTC plus the premium they closed. So I think, I don't know if you remember after they put the plug back in the middle of winter for that situation, silver dipped a bit, just like what is happening now, and then it shot up to $70 right after. It was like I think 55. They put the plug, and then it went back down to 48 or 46. And then
it was just breaking out of, because I think before in October 54 was the high, it dipped to 45, and then it was trying to make new highs there, and that's when they did that shenanigan.
And then dipped a bit, and then
was
shot
the same
right to
thing
70.
where we're trying to break through 91, and they pulled the same.
So I think like we might have a bit of a consolidation, a bit of a dip, and then what will happen is for the rest of like the people who are still short and they're not buddies with the banksters or whatever, whoever that is controlling CME clearing and
CFTC,
and the CFTC.
And I think if they tried to pull this again, even for their friends, it would be too obvious.
Yeah. And the like the clearing firms, etc. at the CME. Okay. Anyway, so I think like I said, next time the shorts will have to cover directly on the exchange, which means that we'll get a old-fashioned silver squeeze, like a price squeeze.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility. That's all I'm saying. It's a possibility based on my analysis. That's all.
Do you wanna? You sent me a chart as well from the gold stocks in Shanghai, which looks pretty interesting. Do you want to talk about that?
So I think based on my understanding of the Hong Kong Shanghai Gold Exchange situation, I think eventually a lot of this gold sitting at the SHFE, which is the Shanghai Futures Exchange vault, is eventually going to be transferred to the Hong Kong Shanghai Gold Exchange vault.
I see.
For like China's efforts to divert away from U.S. Treasury bonds. I mean, look at what's happening with Iran right now.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely going to happen. I think the US is definitely going to push the button and bomb Iran. Like I
Yeah.
think like there's like 35% of the entire US military is at the Gulf right now. I
Yeah.
mean, you don't do that and spend like I don't know how like what $150 million a day
Mm,
to keep that going unless you're going to do something, right?
that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I talked to like Matt Bracken, and he's actually he was a Navy SEAL. Okay,
Okay.
and like I mean, that's special forces. I mean, the
Yeah.
guy knows what he's talking about. He said the same thing. Something is probably going to happen. Decision has probably been made months ago. So this is
Mm,
just all this chatter
yeah.
is just it's just window dressing. I think
Yeah.
it's going
And
to happen.
I
Yeah,
mean, silver is a really important metal for warfare. And
absolutely.
I've got this picture here saw today, and I did a screenshot, which is really interesting. So all the above ground investment silver worldwide is this ingot here. And if you compare it to Empire State Building and the Congress, United States Capitol, so that's all there is above ground. And we know that there's a deficit as well every year, between consumption and production. And the other thing I want to show you, Eric, is this here. Where is it? This guy, Peter Brandt, he wrote a book called Market Wizards, which is a good book. I've read it. I've got the new Market Wizards too. Uh, and I think he's a co-author, right? But yesterday, he kind of woke up because he's always talked about people like you and I who have been trying to expose the manipulation as conspiracy theorists. But I think he's changed his mind now because of what happened yesterday. He says the Comex has shut down trading in silver. Is force majeure on deliveries coming? Are the monkeys running the exchange? Have all the silver conspiracy theories been true? So I think they're already yesterday, by closing the exchange like that, it's already a default. You're like you're gonna all the big sovereign wealth and central bank buyers of gold and silver, they're gonna go buy gold and silver in Singapore or Hong Kong or Shanghai. They're gonna they're not gonna come to New York or London anymore.
It's very possible, Mario. I mean, listen, this whole fiasco is not the first time. Like, it's the second time within 3 months. It's
Yeah, and
becoming a Mickey Mouse situation. It's a
yeah,
Mickey Mouse circus.
Yeah,
That's what this is.
it also
Yeah,
happened in London, didn't the LBMA? I think early last year
yeah.
they
And
shot
that
the
was a
market.
clown show right there, right? Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
look, remember what TD said and Rob got it? They said, oh, the LBMA had like 5,000 metric tons of silver back. Like, that was back middle of September, right? They
yeah,
said that. And then 2 weeks after, I keep saying this, nobody challenged me because it's true, right?
yeah,
And then two and a half, 3 weeks after, Goddard came out and said, "Hey guys, they're down to zero."
yeah,
What?
yeah.
I mean, like, when they
Mm,
told me that there's like 5,000 metric tons, I'm serious. I said on my X, I
mm.
said, "Hey, based on what these guys are telling me, I think there's like a 5 month to 6 month runway."
Yeah, yeah,
I said that, but like I obviously, gave them too much credit,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean, because they can just go to
yeah,
zero
yeah.
within like two, which is essentially telling me and you that they never had 5,000 metric tons of free float in the first place, right?
Mm,
Because
yeah.
you can't, I mean, just anyway. Yeah. Sorry.
So, Eric, don't want to keep you too long. So, any final words um, for the viewers about these markets? And I think I have a pretty good idea of what you're going to say anyway, but.
Well, I'm just going to say this, right? People tell me Jane Street is like long, I think Zero Hedge said it, long SLV. So we got to be careful because they're doing the long SLV short Comex trade. Now they're guessing the Comex part, right? But they like he's basically explaining the EFP basis trade that I talk a lot about. You long the quotation marks physical, and you short the futures. So he's saying that that's the danger of like Jane Street dumping more short positions on the Comex. Now, first of all, the numbers that he's citing is from 2 months ago, so that may already have happened, like the dumping,
Yeah,
which is what we saw, right?
yeah,
Second, I'm going to put my bankster hat on. It's like when you have the basis trade going, it doesn't mean that you are necessarily pushing it. You're trying to dump everything, right? Okay. Although, of course, if they are agents for some sort of deep state, etc., they might have that prerogative to do that. I understand that. But for regular people like me, you, everybody else stacking, I think, given the global situation, look at Mexico, right? Look at the chaos there.
yeah, yeah.
Look at Iran. Look at China. Like you said, the SGE is being drained right now. I think below 800 metric tons right now at both the Shanghai Gold Exchange and Shanghai Futures Exchange, physical silver bulls. So, given all of this information, okay, excluding the LBMA because I don't trust the numbers, right? I explained that. So, given the global silver inventory, lack of 999 physical silver situation, I don't think 80 $90 silver is going to cut it. It's not going to solve the refined silver shortage problem that we have today. That's my conclusion.
Okay, great,
Yep.
Eric, and thank you for coming on. And yeah, let's see what happened and what happens. And a happy New Year to you. It's the fire horse, isn't it? It's the first
Yes.
time in 60 years, isn't it?
Yeah. And according to the Chinese zodiac, like,
Yeah,
feng shui, like our study of universal energy,
yeah.
is actually like a very good year to be invested in physical gold and silver.
Wow,
Because physical gold and silver is like the yin, yin yang, right?
yeah,
It's like the yang to the yin of
yeah.
the fire horse.
Oh,
Perfect.
okay.
There you
My
have
wife told me about that actually because
it.
she's not Chinese, but she was born in 1966, which was the last year that uh, was the year of the fire horse. So, yeah. Anyway, uh, I wish you a great day, Eric. Take care.
Thank you, Mario. Likewise.
Thank you.